Insurance, of course, is a critical enabler to the shipping industry all over the world, and it's not just the Red Sea. We've seen challenges, of course, with the war in Ukraine, around the Black Sea, drought conditions in the Panama Canal, but specifically to the Red Sea, the insurance market's in great turmoil currently. Prices have increased very significantly, in fact, up about 10 times, but many shippers aren't even willing to expose, of course, their people, or for that matter, the vessels or the cargo, and so that's requiring shipping to head down different paths and different routes. And so it's critical for business leaders to scenario plan in this type of environment.
But see, so when I speak to investors, a lot of them say, well, we don't know how to scenario plan. And so they largely ignore the risk. You operate in a different space. What are chief executives doing to try and mitigate this risk?
Well, we're trying to work with our clients in getting in front of this risk, understand where the risk lies, understand where the risks aggregate, do some scenario planning, and if possible, mitigate the risk in advance. And as it relates to shipping, it's going to require different routes in many cases.
But this means a lot more expensive. Are a lot of your, the chief executives that you advise in this space just allocating a lot more money to get goods from A to B?
I think they're trying to better balance resilience with efficiency. It worries me a bit about the economic conditions where, I think there's broad optimism here about the economy in 2024, but there are so many risks out there, and the risk of inflation from things like shipping costs and delays in getting goods to markets is a concern that I have.
Yeah, I mean, 2023 was, in many ways showed a resilient economy, but we saw also really pockets of huge conflict and tension. One of them was what happened in the Black Sea with grains. You were part of the accord. Again, I don't know whether there's a template to try and de-escalate these situations.
There is, I'm very proud of the work that we did with the government of Ukraine to fundamentally get grain moving again through the Black Sea. It's such a critical part of their economy. So while at war, trying to enable the resilience of the Ukraine, is a really important thing. And so we worked with the government there, put some structure together, and it's a public-private partnership. And, we've seen war risks before, and we've advised around it. And so, there are possibilities, of course, and lessons that have been learned that we can apply to the Red Sea.